Okay. All right, we are live.
Woo! Okay. Oh, the chat won't let me log in either. Amy in the chat is saying it won't let her log in.
Oh no.
I set it up on this computer and now I'm anonymous. So Capelia Marie. Okay, Capelia, are you the Capelia from Houston from KSBJ or a different Capelia? That's my question. And oh, we should say hit refresh.
Yes, I just did. And hit
oh, I didn't mean you. I was trying to say for people, and I'm trying to type that into the chat.
Oh yeah, I mean that I typed it in.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I chatted that already.
I'm going in.
Oh, you're anonymous again. How did that happen?
I don't know. It logged me out. So I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah. So hi everyone. We went ahead and pressed on a few minutes early just to make sure it was working. And can you guys see and hear us? I'll type it in the chat in case. I'll type my name at the end of everything so people see.
Yeah, so they can see who you are.
Yep, and I'm going to hit refresh on my other computer where I'm watching it, and I'll try to hit mute right away.
You might be able to log in. It may have logged you in on that chat.
That's true. It was over here. Now I'm over there. Let's see.
Capelia said she can't, so she needs to try to refresh.
Okay, yeah, hit refresh and then play. Okay. Hit refresh and play. Cool. Okay, we're excited for you guys that are here.
Yay!
Woo! Okay. I need to always sign my name so people can see me or see that it's me because I'm anonymous 8832. And now it kicked me out of it on the other one. So I have two computers set up. Neither one of them will recognize me in the chat, but
well, that's because you're so unrecognizable. I mean, unmistakable in person. So.
Yeah, or something.
Something like that.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good because we just sent out that link to the last minute. If you registered sooner, you already got the link this morning. But if you waited until the last second to register, which is what we had happen last time, then we resent it out as a reminder. Make sure that everybody. So today we're going to talk about ebooks and courses and webinars. What elements are you guys doing any of those things already, or are you just here to learn about all of it, or is there one specific thing that you really are like super excited to learn about? Kind of interested in where everybody's at with their blogging and their websites and stuff.
And I actually, a lot of people filled out the survey, and I have to confess that I got too overwhelmed today to look at it because there were so many responses. I need to send it to you, Angela. Are you a spreadsheet person? Yeah, I need to send it to you.
I pretend to be a spreadsheet person because I tend towards disorganized, so I overcompensate by like being uber organized with my projects. But I'm really super disorganized in person. Like when I came to the ranch to do the hangout with you and then I forgot my earbuds. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that happens. That happens. Yeah, but so many people responded, and so I'm not a data person. And so I always feel like surveys, like you're gonna ask them and then it'll be put in a way that's good for me to read, and then it's like I look at it and I'm like, ah. So I need to hire like a spreadsheet person when I start making all the money.
I know a spreadsheet person, and she'll even color code stuff for us.
I know a few people who, well, they wouldn't do it for us, but they love spreadsheets, and I just can't even. So
everyone is saying all the things, so that's awesome because that's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Good.
Today.
Yes.
I'm so excited. This is going to be perfect. Okay, so we should introduce ourselves since lower third wouldn't work for either one of us.
Yes. Oh, Capelia, great. And I was asking before you could hear, are you the Capelia from Houston that I know from KSBJ or not? Because I know you're in one of the groups that saw this, so I thought I would ask. Minnesota. Oh yeah, put in the chat where you guys are from, and then Angela and I are going to introduce ourselves. Ooh, group ebooks. That's nice. I wonder how that works in terms of formatting. Hopefully you got to get out of that. Yes. Well, Capelia, welcome. You're like a famous person in here. watching this. Capelia does a morning show on the radio here in Houston. That's so cool.
Very cool.
And I haven't connected with you after Blog Elevated, but we'll do that after tonight. Now I'm reminded. Chicago, that's cold. And Kelly, you sent me an email tonight, and I was about to respond, and I was walking with my phone in my hand, and when I do that, I delete or move messages, and I can't find where they go. So I'm gonna have to go search for that. So Arkansas, Kristen Crum, welcome you guys. All right, Angela, why don't you start off? So cold. Whew. Yeah, I hate cold weather.
I know. I'm cold too, so here's the jacket to prove it. But
do you not have your hood on? I'm not watching the video part. Angela has this really cute hood.
It's sort of like on but not on. It's like a cape. It's a coat cape.
If you stick around, I have my little put it on at the end because
my beanie cap that covers my giant ears. See, I have big ears, so I got to keep those covered. And I keep thinking they'll smush back down eventually, but they never do. They just stick out.
The things we're all like self-conscious about.
So true. Oh, Philly, cool. I work with some people from Philly. Okay, very cool. It's neat to see where everybody's from. Okay, so I'm Angela England. I live in Oklahoma. I grew up in Southern California, and I married a country boy, so we ended up out here in Oklahoma, and I love it. It's very rural. I am actually at my in-laws' house right now to do this because they have the unlimited internet access, whereas mine is on a data plan. So I try to conserve that data for my work and everything. I am the author of several ebooks, and that's really what I'm going to be talking a lot about today is how to make money with the ebooks. When my third child was born and I quit doing massage therapy and was staying home full time, it was no longer worth it to have somebody watch the kids for the hour that I was doing massage therapy. I wasn't actually making any money by the time I covered the cost of childcare. So what we found out is that things got tight pretty quick. And I went from scrounging loose change for gas money because there were some weeks we couldn't afford to drive the vehicle to church that Sunday because we needed the gas that was in the car for my husband to get to work and back before his next paycheck. So we were to a point where things were pretty tight for us. And once I began leveraging the writing that I was doing for other people, and I learned how to do the ebooks and how to do that writing for myself, we transformed our family finances. And I talk about how I went from no gas money to 5 figures by the end of the year that my first big ebook launched. And when I sat down and did taxes, it was astonishing how much that had added to our family's budget. And it's just grown exponentially from there as I've added more and more pieces. So I blog about writing at angeengland.com. I'm Ange England everywhere online, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, everywhere. And I also am the founder of Homestead Bloggers Network, which is a group of self-sufficient blogging bloggers. And I'm also the founder of Untrained Housewife. So you can find me a little bit everywhere. I dabble in a lot of different topics because I can't just stick to one thing. That's too boring. So
that's awesome. Well, I am Kirsten Oliphant, and I also have a couple of different blogs, but I started out blogging. Actually, I realized this. I started blogging 11 years ago, which is insane. And so you can find me at kirstenoliphant.com, which is a lifestyle blog, food, family, sometimes faith, just whatever I want to write about. Really, it's a great random place. And then you may have found me through createifwriting.com, which is the site you're on right now for this webinar. And I launched this last year and launched a podcast. And I really get nerdy talking about things like email list and growing your platform for, whatever it is. If you're a writer, you're a blogger, musician, entertainer, connecting with your readers and your audience in an authentic way. So that's what I'm really passionate about. And so tonight I'm going to be kind of handling the part about courses and webinars. So, and Angela, you may have to mute your side during my part because there's some loud banging on your side. But so just to let you guys know, as we're getting started, Angela's going to kick us off and talk about ebooks. We did the same training Sunday. We are live. This is live. But we did the same training on Sunday and we flew through. It's a whole lot of information. So get out some stuff to take notes. You will get the replay if you registered. So you get
You'll
to watch
want a
it.
notebook.
Yeah, we will have the replay up through Sunday. So you'll have days to watch it, which is great. I know I like replays because time is hard and things like that. But also 2 quick things. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. So keep your questions. We're going to try to fly through information, but keep them because we want to come back to them. I love that you have a wood stove. That's awesome, Angela. And then also, somebody asked about this in the last one. We have a buy button down there. We're going to talk about our course, which relates to all these things. And you absolutely are going to get a great free training tonight. And if you don't want to buy our course, like, that is absolutely fine. Stay for the training. Don't buy the course. I think you'll want the course by the end of it, but that's fine if you don't buy, because we totally get that. So yeah, so why don't we just dive in, Angela? I'm going to go ahead and
yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
I'll make you the presenter and screen share.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share. I'm presenting to everyone. La, la, la. All right. So I'm going to flip through for you, and you're going to go ahead and
Kirsten made those awesome slides. Aren't they pretty? She did a good job. Okay. So we are going to talk about how to transform these passionate messages that we have. I mean, the reason that most of us got into blogging in the first place is because we wanted to connect with people. We had something important to say. We had something that we felt like would benefit others or was such a blessing to us that we wanted to pass that along. And so I am a strong believer that you can do that and make money at the same time. You can help people and make money. And we're going to show you how with some of these things. We talked about who we are. We can skip the who we are.
All right.
Yay, there's me. There's you. Yay. Oh, yeah, and we should talk about, you know, why we think that some of this stuff is so important. I shared a little bit of my story of, you know, needing to generate a cash flow that wasn't necessarily dependent on trading hours for dollars. And when you have kids, you never know when those hours are going to be available. And Kirsten will talk a little bit later about how her blog was just completely impacted by an algorithm change. And so what we really want is to stop being controlled by the page views, by the editorial calendars of the PR firms that are offering us these sponsored posts. And if you've ever gone from a Q4 to, you know, first quarter, sponsored posts are usually just like totally tank and drop out from under you. And in November, you couldn't keep up. You were writing, you know, half your posts were sponsored posts. And so we want to show you how to really balance all of that out in a way that's very, very doable. And so the first thing that we're going to talk about is how to do that with eBooks. And that's what I'm going to talk about. We're all writing already. And so eBooks are a way of packaging what we're doing in a way that is created, published, and delivered electronically. And that's really what makes an ebook a book. It's a long form piece of content. It's larger than a single blog post. And everything happens digitally, which means that you can move a lot faster with it. Typically, your ebook should have all of the elements that a regular book would have, but you have the added element of being able to include clickable links. And that can be really powerful when we start talking about things like marketing and connecting with the audience. That single click to get back to a link, to get back to your website, to see what kind of products you're using, affiliate marketing, it all ties together in a really powerful way that is a little bit harder to do with a print version of a book. So there's a lot of benefits to doing an ebook. One of the things that you can do is repurpose some of your existing content. Now, that's not to say copy and paste your blog post and call it a book. I have seen that happen with, you know, I check out a lot of ebooks, of course, and people send them to me to review. I actually saw a guy who had literally cut and paste from his blog, and it even had like the byline with the number of comments from when he had copied and pasted. It was horrible.
Well, I will say that can be an okay, like, I've seen people use those as like a freebie for signing up for email. Like, there's a place for that. Not so much the comments and byline part. But,
right.
But
you can absolutely use what you've already written on your blog if it's relevant to the reader. But I would challenge you to package that in a way where it's formatted for the reader and it's really benefiting the reader. And so you're going to smooth out those transitions. You're going to create, you know, additional content to kind of fill in any of the gaps and things like that. For me, one of the most eye-opening things was how eBooks really helped provide an additional revenue for what I was doing online and my work online. They're extremely easy to create compared to a traditionally published book, which I just published my third one. So I can speak to this. It happens so much faster when you're the one in control of these things. You can move very quickly. The fastest ebook I ever produced took about 5 days. I had 2 other people helping me with it. The fastest that I produced my own self was 2 weeks, the 30 days to make and sell a fabulous ebook, which I produced in 2011. It took me 2 weeks to finish that draft and get that pretty well polished and ready to go.
You're insane.
The other benefit, I know, I am insane. That's true.
In a good way. You're insane.
I wrote a lot of it. I was carpooling to Bliston with some friends. So there were like 3 of us in the car. So I wrote a whole bunch of it like when I was passengering in the car and I wasn't the one driving. So I was like, I don't like to waste that time in the car. I'm going to be doing something productive with it. The other awesome thing about everything being digitally produced and delivered is that the payments are also happening online. And so your payments happen much more quickly. You see that money right away. If someone buys a $10 book off your website, that $10 goes immediately into your PayPal account. Now, that's not to say that Uncle Sam's not going to want his cut, or if you have affiliates, you're going to owe them. Obviously, that whole $10 is not $10 for you to spend, but that money is in your account almost right away. Compared to this book that I just wrote this summer, I signed the contract in June. I turned in my part of the manuscript in August, and I just got my advance check on Saturday. Wow. So by the time, the contract had been vetted, and then the legal department kicked it over to the accounting department, and then they did their thing, and then it went over to the guy to sign, and then it went back to the shipping department. I mean, the more you separate all of that stuff, the slower you're going to go. Now, that's with a paid product. One of the other benefits that I found with eBooks is that you can boost your subscribers and your followers. And Kirsten mentioned having a freebie for your newsletter as a download. That can be hugely powerful. When I did 7 principles of intentional and self-sufficient living for Untrained Housewife, and it was kind of the manifesto of the website. If you read that book and you agreed with those principles, then this is a website you would enjoy reading from. And I went from having just a handful of subscribers every month, I mean a handful, to triple-figure subscribers every month for the last 2 years without fail, because they had a reason to subscribe. I was giving them something, and it wasn't even like this huge thing. It's like 23 or 25 pages, something like that. But it defines the site. It's got a beautiful cover. It has an interesting concept in the title. And so people are, what are those 7 principles? I wonder if I agree with them. And they're going to click through, they're going to subscribe, and it gives you a greater connection with them as a reader. They can read a 500-word blog post, and that's the equivalent of standing next to someone in line at Starbucks and saying, hey, good morning, how are you? And then you're on your merry way. Compared to reading thousands of words that someone wrote is the equivalent of sitting down with them over dinner and chatting for an hour and a half. You get to know them a lot better and a lot more deep of a connection. And that translates into how they engage with your website, into how they engage with the next product you put out, into how that person feels about you. So those are all of the benefits of producing an ebook. Now, that's not to say it's all cherry pie and whipped cream. So there's some downsides. One of the things that is a downside is the distribution challenges. It falls on you to get the word out about your ebook. And this is hard for some people to overcome. It's the reason why self-published books on average sell 250. That's the average sales.
That's so low.
I know. For every book that we have, like mine that sells thousands of copies, you have a book that only sells 5, which is how much my first ebook sold. So I can speak from experience how not to do it. The other downsides, of course, are that you have the bookkeeping, the taxes, and accounting, and you are responsible for the final product. So if you're not a graphic designer, you need to find one or hire one, beg, borrow, or steal. So the key to me when you're starting with an ebook is to have the right topic. And this is really important because if you have a good topic, you are going to be on track to really, basically, the book will help sell itself. All the best marketing techniques in the world are not going to work if your book has the wrong topic. And this is what I discovered with the first book that sold so poorly. You want a topic that is specific, but not so narrow that there's no audience for it. Not so broad that people tune you out. You want to be interesting and unique. So for example, if you're a blog that you blog about knitting, and so you decide you're going to write a book about knitting, the mistake that I see most bloggers make is to write something like how, the ultimate guide to knitting. And the problem with that is, yes, that's a huge audience. Anyone who knits should want to read your book. However, they already have Complete Idiot's Guide to Knitting, Knitting for Dummies, Knitting 101. There's nothing that makes your book stand out from the crowd. You're not unique enough. You're not specific enough. You don't give them any kind of promise or hook to stand out from what they already have on their shelves. The other mistake I see is people going too narrow. So they write a little pamphlet on how to knit purple hamsters. And yes, you're going to sell that to the 5 people on the face of the earth who are interested in knitting purple hamsters. But you're not going to sell enough copies to make it worth your while. So if you can think about how to save someone money, teach them a new skill, entertain them, and you can create a title that has a little bit of a hook, a little bit of a promise, something interesting, that unique twist, you're going to capture their attention. So an example would be something like baby projects you can knit in a weekend, 52 baby projects to knit in a weekend. That has a built-in promise. It's short. You know that this is going to be very doable, and you're going to save money by being able to do these baby presents yourself. So that is an example of a topic that would work a lot better. Once you begin brainstorming the types of topics and the categories that you want to work with, your first step should be writing your table of contents. And that outline is going to serve as the guide for everything that you do. This is the best way to overcome writer's block. If you've ever sat down to a blank screen and thought, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Your table of contents is going to help you. You take all of those outlines and notes that you've got for chapter 1, and you cut and paste it into your chapter 1 document. Now you're not looking at a blank screen anymore. You've already got 100 words in, and all you need to do is fill in the gaps. That's it. Super easy. Plus, it's so highly motivating. I always print out my table of contents and I stick it on the board next to my computer, and then I get a big Sharpie marker and I cross it out as I write each section, and it's so motivating to get through that.
That's such a great idea.
Yes, I love it because it really can keep you motivated. Plus, you know how much you have left to do. So when you're considering the types of ebooks, it can be as simple as a PDF download off your website. You write it in a Word document, you export it as a PDF file, you upload it to your media library, and you give people the link in the confirmation email of your newsletter. Ta-da! Now they have a reason to subscribe to your newsletter, and you have officially created an ebook. It can be that easy and free. Those are all free tools that anyone can use. I use some paid tools now that I'm more experienced, but I literally sold my first ebook with a pay now button from PayPal that I embedded into the post, and then I would have to email people when I got the email that I would email them the file because I didn't even know how to set it up on an autoresponder. So, I mean, if I can do it and I didn't know what I was doing, then you guys are able to do it when you get some help and break through all of those hurdles that I've overcome and Kirsten's overcome. So, okay, promotion. This is what everybody wants to hear about because
everybody hates promotion. It's so annoying.
Everybody wants to hear about how they're going to sell their ebook. Like, okay, I wrote an ebook and I need to sell it now. So the first key that I would say is if you're hosting your ebook on Amazon, you want to make sure that you get at least 25 reviews up. This is the minimum goal that you have to have in mind, and you cannot give up your review seeking efforts until you hit that minimum, and here's why. Amazon, when you look at any book, they have the little section underneath that says people who bought this book also bought these books. Those books all have 25 reviews or more, and you want to show up in that also bought section. They convert like crazy, so get those reviews going. Do guest posts, accept every guest interview opportunity. Email your friends and say, hey, who should I be talking to? Do you know anyone that has a podcast or interview? Ask them to do introductions for you. And then you can think about even bigger things like a blog tour or even live signing events, which I've done, book signings at libraries and things like that. They're always welcome if you take your ebook to a print on demand. The biggest thing that I think we overlook is making the most of every opportunity. So if you're doing a guest post, don't just use a generic quote to introduce the guest post, quote from your book, and then put, from page 52 of my awesome ebook, and link to it on your blog or on Amazon, and just link the title, right? We all do that with quotes from other books. Why aren't you quoting from your own book? Why aren't you mentioning your 7 ways to save $1 million this year, or whatever your topic is? When you're doing a guest post for somebody, mention the e-course that you have set up for your newsletter subscribers. Mention your free ebook, mention your paid ebook, and quote from those things as much as you can. Now, if you end up having somebody come back and say, oh, I don't pay for articles in this magazine, then find out what they'll trade you in advertising, and actually take out what would normally be a paid ad for your ebook, but you're paying with an article that promotes your book, and then you're getting advertising that promotes your book. So start to think really strategically that way about how you can make the most of the opportunities that come your way.
All right, so we're going to move into creating courses, and I feel like I'm so excited every time I get to hear Angela talk about ebooks, and I've heard it, like we did this webinar on Sunday as well, and I got to hear her at Blog Elevated last year. But I have my goal for by the end of February is I want to have 3 more ebooks up on Amazon. So I'm insane, but I learned from Angela, who's also insane, and so I'm really excited to get those ebooks done. And you're going to help me, right, Angela, with the things that
yes,
okay.
Of course.
Okay, so let's talk about creating courses now, because this is my newest craze, and really is the craze everywhere. So ed tech, aka online learning, is a $107 billion industry as of 2015.
That's
and I got
amazing.
That from Forbes, so I didn't make it up, but I didn't link to it either. And this includes college stuff as well, but really what's happening now is so many people are using great courses, Udemy, and then this has sparked people doing it independently, which is what we do. So right now courses are massive, but the cool thing is they have not peaked. And what that means is the market is not so flooded with them that you can't actually get any traction. And even I think when it does become flooded, I think they're going to continue, kind of like books. I mean, the market's flooded with ebooks, but they're still coming. And because it takes corporations and big groups longer than scrappy entrepreneurs and people like you and me, we can create a course right now.
I love it.
Yeah. So also, you guys, if you're still with us, just type in the chat, like, I'm still here, I'm hanging on, it's awesome, we're going, we're with you, because I know we're throwing a lot at you. And I did forget to mention, so I'm just putting this in right now. If you're watching live, not the replay, if you're watching live, we're going to have a really awesome deal that you definitely want to stick around for around 8:45, if I can speak quickly enough to get here. So just for you live people. All right, so courses can be anything. No, seriously, they really can. And so I'm going to show you some examples. If you guys knew Simple Mom, who's now, she's rebranded to Art of Simple, Tish Oxenrider. This year she released a course called the Upstream Field Guide. And it's basically kind of like planning a family vision statement of just having a life that's not just going along with what everybody else is doing. Money Saving Mom, this is an example of her free course, which is a free course is a fantastic way to build your list. And you can see I signed up because my stuff is in there when I did the screenshot. And this is a really good free course. And then she also has like a Makeover Your Mornings paid course. And that's about having a better morning. I mean, seriously, like that's a course. This course, I didn't get the name when I took this screenshot, but it's a digital scrapbooking course. And apparently, according to like the promo stuff, it's sold like thousands and thousands of copies. So yeah, digital scrapbooking, who knew? And this one, I don't know if you guys follow the Nester. I love her. She makes me feel better about my house. Her tagline is, it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Even though her house always looks perfect in the photos, but she did a course called The Cozy Minimalist, and also kind of did a kickoff of it, The Cozy Minimalist Mom, to kind of help with all the kids stuff. Yeah, very smart. And I just bought the kids one for my sister-in-law for her birthday this weekend. Okay, and this one, the last one, Make Better. This is one of the first courses like this I took. And this is the guy named Blaine Hogan, who is an actor. Now he's a creative director at Willow Creek Church, which I think is one of the biggest churches in the country. And he's just cool artist guy. And this is all about storytelling, being creative, like being the best artist you can be no matter what you're doing. That's a course. So hopefully if you hadn't thought about making courses before, I don't know if that gives you any sort of just sparks of ideas. Like, it does not have to be a course about making money. It does not have to be a course about blogging. It can be a course about helping you be a better artist or organizing your house or digital scrapbooking. So just like with an ebook, and again, you know, we're kind of talking about nonfiction in our writing. This fiction books is a totally different kind of webinar workshop. But yeah, if you can solve a problem for people. So if you want to find a profitable course idea, it's as simple and difficult as finding sort of that intersection of what you know and what people will pay for. Now you can make a course and it not be profitable, but I put profitable in there because I think, you know, I'm really proud of things I do, whether they are really profitable or not. Like, it's great to create something, but if your goal is to, you can still be proud and make money too. So if your goal is to be profitable, you have to make sure what you're making is something people will pay for. So here are some of the questions for that. Will it solve a problem? And online courses these days, it's less about information, unless you're taking a college course. It's more about transformation. So will people be transformed? Will they take your course on how to use a DSLR camera and go from keeping it on automatic to keeping it on manual all the time and knowing what they're doing? That's a transformation. It's a simple one, but that's really important to a lot of people. Will it make someone money? That just always is going to be something people will pay for. They want to pay to make more money. Your course can be video, it can be written, it can be audio or combination. A lot of people are doing video now, and you know, if you are doing video, the cool thing is, like, I use Google Hangouts for a lot of mine, and I'll screen share and record a video and then go back and edit out the awkward, like, welcome to the Google Hangout screen that they put on there. So you know, it's a really nice video, it's free, and there you go. Written. Yeah, I've taken written courses. The first course I wrote was for Social Fabric, also known as Collective Bias. They're a group that works with bloggers on sponsored posts, and that was a totally written course. I've done audio. You can do combo. I mean, really whatever. You just let people know ahead of time so they know. Like, they don't expect a video course if it's all written, for example. Course promotion does not differ that much from ebook promotion. You can do it through social channels. Through a free course funnel, like the Money Saving Mom, her course, the free course, it's really full of value, but it also has some places where she promotes other stuff. So you could promote your course. I have a free email course at freeemailcourse.com. And I do talk about, I have a paid email course, and I do talk about that in there, but you can totally take the free course and get a ton of value. You can do it through your email list, which is something, I think this is the most important thing if you're not doing it now, is to start an email list. Not on Gmail or Hotmail, but like through MailChimp or ConvertKit or Mad Mimi, one of these. Start an email list and you can promote through those people. You could set up affiliates through the actual course plugins themselves on your website, or through, I use DPD, which is Digital Product Delivery, and I can set up affiliates through there. If you ever want to be an affiliate, it's the same site that you're on right now, creativewriting/affiliates, and Angela has affiliates for her things. You could do it through a webinar, which we're going to talk about webinars, and I'm going to promote a course through the webinar at the end of this. So courses, you know, all the promotion really, it kind of goes together. Like, it's really intertwined. Whether you're promoting a course or a book, you might talk to different people, but the promotional aspects are the same or similar. Would you say that's pretty true, Angela? I know you've done books and courses. I think we lost.
Yeah, I would say it's true. And well, I had just muted myself. I think that for some people too, you know, I have this book that just came out this summer, Gardening Like a Ninja. And I'm working on a course to go along with it. Some people prefer a more digital format. They'll never sit down and read a book, but they'll take an online course. And so to me, it's the same message, but you're packaging it up in different ways. And the more opportunities you can offer someone to connect with you, it's like offering, you know, an audio book. You know, printers, publishers, book publishers, they have regular books and audiobooks because they want to reach both audiences. And so if we can do the same thing, then I think that's, you know, it's the same message. We're just providing a multitude of opportunities for people to connect with us, and they all lead into each other.
And Capelia asked a really great question in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and address that now. And again, we're doing Q&A. We're flying through now, so we're going to get there in really soon here, but just the difference between a webinar and a course. So a webinar, this is what we're doing tonight, and we called it a workshop because webinar, I feel like, I mean, we are selling a course at the end, but I'd like to think we're not smarmy about it. That's my favorite word of what I don't want to be, which is kind of just being an icky salesperson. Webinars are basically a web seminar. So it's a live or recorded training kind of video. It's like a one-time thing. It's usually an hour, at the most 2 usually. A course is something, it lives in a place, like it lives on a website, and it's there. It has lessons and modules and different functions. So some courses, they release it week by week, which is not my favorite way. Some of them, it's all the information's there. So you can go through and binge and be like, all right, I'm going to take an online course on Saturday. And you go through and you watch the videos and you read it all on that Saturday. So course is like a bigger, way more extensive. Like, so tonight we are touching on a ton of stuff, but we are not going in depth because we're trying to keep it in an hour. And that's
exactly.
You can't cover all of webinars. You can't cover all of courses. You can't cover all of eBooks, but we can give you guys a lot of information that will hopefully be helpful to you. But there's no way you could pack it all in. So I think the course we'll talk about in a minute has, I know at least in my part, I mean, it's like 6 hours at least of video. No, it can't be 6. I don't know. It's a bunch of hours. There's a lot of videos. There's like 20 videos in my section of tech training and stuff. But this is a webinar. I like to refer to them as workshop because webinar is such an icky word. But if you haven't noticed, they're everywhere. I sign up for probably 3 a week and often just watch the replays, but I like learning. And so even if I know I'm not going to buy a product, I will go ahead and watch it to learn. And because most of them, if it's a good work webinar, they will teach you something. Even if they're selling at the end, they will teach you something. I've been to bad ones and they are just selling you stuff, and that makes me mad. So webinar benefits.
Right. Or they say like 10 ways to do whatever, and then they like give you one way, and then they tell you to buy the course and learn. That
really me off. Yeah, I really
that is like super smart.
Yeah, that makes me, I did one of those recently. It was Instagram. It was like how to sell things on Instagram. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I have no idea because Instagram barely lets you link. And so I watched, and the whole time there was like 20 minutes of setup, and she kept saying the 9 ways to use it. She shared 3, and then the other 6 you had to buy her course. And I was so mad because I spent an hour watching. So anyway, back to respecting your time that are watching tonight or watching the replay. Webinars have a lot of benefits. List growth. So like you guys signed up and registered to watch this, or most of you did. And if you didn't, if you just showed up, because we did share the link in groups, you can sign up below if you scroll down, and that will get you the replay. So you guys, that'll put you on my email list. And what you do, if you're doing that, is you don't just, I'm not going to send you 8,000 emails every single day. I will follow up. And then if you want to unsubscribe, you can. But it's a great way to connect with people, because a lot of times if someone hasn't connected with me or Angela and then they come here and they like the training, you're going to probably want to be on our list because we're going to share awesome stuff with you. So it grows your list. It shows your expertise because, again, you know, you're sitting here like I'm live. I'm in my laundry room actually, but I'm live in my laundry room sharing things with you guys off the cuff, like right here. You know, so it shows your authority or knowledge about a subject. You connect with your audience. We can connect in the chat. You know, we can actually put names to faces and find you on Twitter later. You can tweet us that you watched and we'll respond. And you can also make sales if you're selling something, and you don't have to every time. I do usually 1 to 2 live workshops every month, and I don't sell at all of them. Like some of them I don't sell anything. Some of them I'll promote something I've already done. And some of them I'm just like, hey, let's hang out. Earlier in the month, I did one on images. Like, let's learn how to do images on PicMonkey. And I didn't sell anything. It was just really fun. But you can make sales through them. And that's what most people, I feel like, when you see webinars, and that's what people assume. The thing with webinars, they're very challenging. Tech always fails. And I'm going to knock on like all the wood in this room because nothing has failed yet tonight. And Angela and I have done this is our 3rd, I think, joint webinar, and something has failed every single time except for tonight. So knocking on all the wood that something doesn't crash now. It can be nerve-wracking to do it live. The first time I did it for like 5 friends. I was like, please show up at this address online and help me, tell me what I'm doing wrong. It was very nerve-wracking. There's a 30-second delay, which people don't always tell you. So like, as you're hearing this, I'm already saying something else. And that's hard to keep up with the chat. And if you don't know that, like the first time I did one, I thought something was wrong. What if no one shows up? I mean, the reality is you usually get 10%, maybe 20 of, I'll have to look at the numbers, but it's not a lot. You get not a lot of people who signed up. I think over 100 people signed up, and we've got around 30, it's hovering around 30 live viewers. So, and I don't know if that counts the mobile viewers because the chat's not going to work for them. That's how I'm counting, is from what's in the chat. So that could be scary, but I will tell you, I've done webinars with 10 people. It's been amazing. We really connected, and I actually sold things even with 10 people. So it doesn't have to be hundreds of people. And there's so many moving parts to a webinar. There's all these little things that you got to get like just straight, and it can be really scary, but it doesn't have to be, but it can be. So here's why it's not scary. You can plan for the tech failures. I usually have all the windows open of all the things I need to get a webinar up and running. And I see a question in the chat about best places to host one. And I will get to that in the Q&A. That's a great question. You can plan for tech. You'll get used to the live aspect. You'll get used to that delay. Your webinars will grow in terms of like the numbers. They will grow over time, because the more you do them, the more your list will grow, the more people you can send an email to saying, hey, I'm live right now. The moving parts, there's a lot of them, but once you have like a list, and the first couple ones I did, I printed a list, and I was like, okay, first I have to A, then I have to B, then I have to C, then I have to D. It's time consuming, but it takes practice. So like tonight I was like, oh, we're just doing a webinar, it's fine. But you do need to know the parts, and that's kind of hard. And that's something I can't dive into right now. Like I could spend an hour and do a full webinar training, but that's how much it would take, and it wouldn't cover everything because that's a lot. But here's a super basic way to do a webinar. And this is how this kind of gets to part of the best place to host the webinar. But I have found, for me, I like to code it on my own site. And that sounds fancy, but really you just embed the Google Hangout code. We're in a Google Hangout. I embed the chat code as what you guys are chatting on. And if you're selling something, you embed a buy button, which we have down there. And that's an Insta webinar. It's basic, it's simple, it works. There's all this fancy webinar software, but the thing with that is a lot of it is like $50 to $200 a month. And those things crash too, because I actually got 2 emails in the fall, and I got another one reminding me of this today, for big time entrepreneurs who have hundreds and thousands of followers, and their big time platforms crashed and didn't work. And then they had to email their hundreds of thousands of followers and say, well, dang, our webinar failed. And so it just happens.
My bad.
Yeah, my bad. I mean, and it's not, because sometimes technology just fights you, and webinars do have so many moving parts that happen. So it's that simple to code this, and that hard. But, if you want to try one, make a page on your website, add a page. Don't put it up in your navigation bar. Add a page, tell a couple people where it is, start a Google Hangout. You could do it just by yourself. You don't have to have another person, because sometimes that's the problem. Sunday, Angela and I couldn't both get online live. It took us till like the minute the webinar started to both get on the screen. It like wouldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, it is that simple. There's a lot to it, but it's also totally accessible if you want to do one. And then selling via webinar. 2 or 3 different people launched webinar courses this year, 3 that are big time, and they were like $1,000 courses, because webinars can make you tons of money. Or at least if you're a big time entrepreneur, they can make you tons of money. But to do that, you need a list to get people there. So the people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they really are, they generally have like a list of thousands of people. But you don't have to. Okay, you don't have to have a giant list. You can do a webinar and make money with a small list, and I can say that because I've done that. I've not made tens of thousands, but I've made thousands. You have a problem you can solve for people, a demonstration of expertise, and that comes through the live part where you share like the free training like we have, and then a fabulous product. So that's kind of how people make money.
And you guys see how this all weaves together, right? You have your freebie, you get your ebook, you get your course, you use a webinar to promote them, and it all weaves together so amazingly to really grow the potential of what you can do with your blog exponentially beyond what your page views represent.
Absolutely.
It's astonishing.
In fact, I didn't say this at the beginning because I just forgot, and I've said it so many times, but part of my story of how I got into this is my KirstenOliphant.com blog finally hit 100,000 page views a month last year. And I was so excited because that was a big milestone. And I was like, I've made it as a blogger. I'm going to make all this money. I maybe made $100 more that month than I normally do. And I was like, well, okay. And then the next month, Pinterest changed an algorithm and my traffic was cut in half. And I was like, well, okay, awesome. That was like one of those things you think you're going to get there and you're going to be so excited, and it didn't mean anything. Meanwhile, through the creative writing site, I started a small list, and it really was like 200 people at first. And I just finally, like this month, surpassed my other list, which I'd been growing for 3 years. Like this month alone, I think I gained 800 subscribers to the creative writing. And I have 1,000 page views a month, maybe 2,000 a month on this site. And through this site, I have been making more money because it's not just about page views. It's not about the banner ads and the sponsored posts, which I just got tired of doing. Okay, so this is going to be like one of those meta things. So webinar sales, to make sales in a webinar, you have to have a pitch that motivates people to act. And we're going to give an example that hopefully is a good one as we talk to you guys about our paid course. And what I will tell you is this, that we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to do a Q&A, and we're also going to share with you guys who are live what special awesome offer we have for you. And please feel free to stick around even if you know you're not going to buy, because we will do your questions, and we do not have hard feelings towards those people who don't buy, because I've been there. I've totally watched I've watched dozens of webinars where I know I'm not going to buy, but I just want the info. And that's totally okay. We're glad you're here. Okay, that's so right. Yes, Angela and I have created the Creative Profitability course, and it's insane. It's a 5-module multimedia course with 20+ videos, including tech training, and it's the exact strategies. It's the blueprints for what we have seen work for ourselves, which, like Angela was saying, it weaves together really, really well. So I'll tell you what the modules are. The first one is eBooks, and this is Angela's.
Right. So the modules all break down into more specific lessons. So whereas I spent, 5 minutes in one slide talking about how to pick your topic, in the lesson, I'm able to delve a lot deeper into this. So not only do I have the full lesson right now, but also handouts, checklists that you can print off, and worksheets that you can work through. And then, of course, you'll be able to ask us questions in the private group as well. So we can mentor you through anywhere that you get blocked or stuck. How to find a topic, how to actually create your book, and this includes specifics down to how do I get it to go out as a free newsletter thing, if you're stuck with that, the exact plugins that I use, all of that kind of thing, how to get your book published, and how to sell it, how to actually get people buying that book.
So, and I'm excited because, like Angela said, there's a Facebook group. Angela did this part of the course. I've published my own ebooks, but I have not made as much as she has. And I also started doing it like 5 or 6 years ago, and everything has changed. And so I'm like, I'm going to use the group, and I'm going to use the course myself to launch my ebooks next month. So module 2 is email list. And this is back to me. And this is all about making your email list the backbone of your blog and your business, whatever that is. It's how to grow your list, and this is really the important part that I think is so hard for people, especially if you're not like an entrepreneurial sales person. Sales does not come naturally to me. These pitches, I've gotten more used to them. And the more I believe in my product, the easier it is. I love this course. Like I was so excited making it, and I'm so excited to take Angela's part. That makes it easier, but it's really hard for people who aren't natural salespeople, I guess some people are, to sell. So this talks about how to build relationships with your email list subscribers that will lead to sales, and then how to sell to your list without being smarmy, which is my, again, favorite word. And then module 3 is back to Angela.
Back to me. So this is where I talk about paid writing. And what I love about this module is it's something that a lot of bloggers overlook, but when you implement the techniques that I talk about here, you can actually earn back what this course would cost you just from 1 or 2 article placements. In this module, I talk about paid magazine placements, getting your articles published in magazines, and also some places that accept digital guest post contributions or paid writing assignments. And what I love about this is you are literally getting paid to advertise your books, which is amazing. So in this module, I give the exact query letters that I used to get articles accepted. I literally went back through my email archives, found my first rough draft, found the edits that a friend sent me, found my exact pitch that I sent to Mothering Magazine, and got an article accepted when they were still an active magazine. And I talk about, I have a database that I go to when I'm looking for magazines to submit to. I give you that exact list of all the sites that I use to find those opportunities. I also break down how to maximize every ounce of possibility from your guest posts. When I did Backyard Farming on an Acre More or Less, I was able to publish not just excerpts of the book, but actually posts or articles in magazines that referenced my book. And really, I ended up getting paid as much from my magazine placements, more from my article placements, than what my royalties have earned me to date, which is amazing. I got paid to advertise my own book in national magazines. It's incredible. So I love. I know. But wait, there's more. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that's what's so exciting about this is it actually works. And I did it from home with 5 babies and a gallbladder surgery. It's crazy, everything that was going on that year. That Backyard Farming came out. But it's just an example of just this one technique will have the potential to earn you more than what this course would cost. And that's what's so exciting to me. Yeah, I mean, it's I share the exact things that I sent to the editors.
So module 4 is all about hosting webinars. And this one is a beast because, like I mentioned, there are all these moving parts. And so what I've done in this is we talk about creating content, running the actual webinar, handling the registration of replay, which are really important key parts. And I learned that the very first time I did one, and I was like, oh, I did that wrong. So that's important. And then, how to handle the pitch, which is this part without, hopefully this isn't awkward and hopefully it's not smarmy. I don't feel smarmy because I love our course and I feel like we've given good content, but kind of what to do, what not to do. And then all the tech training. And I actually have videos with screenshots or screencasts showing you where to click, where to paste, where to do things. And I know one of the questions was where to host. And so we'll talk about some of the options for that in a minute, but I go through that a little bit in the course as well, or in this module. And then the 5th module is all about creating courses. And we mentioned some of this, why you need to start now. How to find that profitable idea. So it goes just even deeper than what I mentioned tonight, find what you know, find what people buy, but kind of give you more info on that. And then where to host and how to build. And there's a lot. I don't give you one answer because I don't think there's an easy answer for everybody. There's a lot of options. And so I kind of walk you through some of the different options and why you may choose one over another, and then how to promote. And what I'll say about this, I was talking to somebody recently who took Amy Porterfield's Profit Lab, which I don't know how much that costs, but it's a bunch. And I love Amy Porterfield, but she said that the training was really good. And she gave you a lot of whys and sort of some hows, but the tech part on how to create a course, where to put it, how to build all that stuff out, how to build a webinar, how to do that was not included. And I think that's true of a lot of courses. And I think that's something that makes this really different, that if you want to do these things, you are going to know how after you go through the course.
Yes.
So now's the live special part, and then we're going to do the Q&A. So the normal price for this, and it's going to be starting next Monday, is $397. And really, honestly, our goal is for you to be able to make that back. Maybe not within the first 30 days, maybe 60 days, maybe a little bit, but this course should pay for itself. That's the goal. And if it doesn't, then we will help you get there. Because again, we've got that.
Let us know. We'll work with you to figure out what you need to do to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Because we passionately believe that these techniques, they've worked for us. They can work for you. We believe that, or we wouldn't be up here saying it. So
absolutely. So through Sunday, it's going to be $197 for the course. So you're saving $200, but there's more. Tonight, if you guys are watching live, for those who are still here, you're going to get both of our other courses if you buy live. Own Your List, which is an extensive email course. And like we did say, there's a module here on email, but it's focused, all the things in the Creative Profitability course are focused on kind of weaving together and how to use your list to sell. Own Your List walks you through, you don't have a list at all, or you have a small list, or you have a giant list that you don't know what to do with, all the moving parts of email lists, every single thing email. And then also Angela's Achieve Your Publishing Dreams course, which is a massive, giant, amazing course on all things publishing that goes way deeper than the one. I mean, the one here will let you will be able to publish an ebook. But again, there's so much on that.
Right. The focus of the module that we did for creative publishing or creative profitability is ebooks, digital products, how your ebooks will tie into everything else that is involved with that course, the webinars, the courses, all of that stuff. Achieve Your Publishing Dreams has a much more significant focus on self-publishing. So if you want to eventually have like books on Amazon, print on demand, actual physical books that you hold in your hand that you can sign at the library, that's where this course would take you to the next level compared to what you're going to find in Creative Profitability. Creative Profitability is you have no ebook, you've never done anything like that. Maybe you don't even have anything for your newsletter yet, or it's not converting well. And that's where we are going to help you get through that with what's in the course.
And so if you're going to buy now during the live time, and we'll keep this open just to be, I didn't talk to you about this, Angela. We'll keep this open till 10 p.m. tonight, Central Time. So we're going to stick around for Q&A, but just to keep it rounded out, we'll keep it out till 10. If you decide to buy, you're going to get all 3 courses for less than the price of one of the courses. So in math terms, which I don't do well, it's a $1,191 value for $197. So you can't beat that. And then after tonight, if you want to think about it or see if you have finances or talk to your husband or your dog or whatever about look at your bank account to see if anything's in there, you'll still get a good deal. You'll get 2 of the courses for $197. So if you're watching the replay, you will still get 2 courses. You get to choose. You get Creative Profitability, and then you get to choose the email course or Achieve Your Publishing Dreams for $197. And that's only good through January 24th, I believe is the date of Sunday. And after January 24th, the price is going up. So yes. To run through that again, Creative Profitability, Achieve Your Publishing Dreams, Own Your List, private Facebook group, $197. And then this last one, I'm only going to do this for the first 5 people who buy because I can't handle all the webinars because I already have some people who bought Sunday. So I saved some for you guys. But the first 5 people who buy live, not the replay, but live, I will moderate and be with you on your very first webinar. So I don't even know what the value of that is because that would be $1 million.
It would be, yes, $1 million.
But it would be really helpful to have anybody who's done one.
That's right. When you need a person, she will be your person.
I'm your person. So that's what you're going to get if you buy live. And if you buy after 10 p.m. tonight, or you're watching the replay and you buy, you will still get 2 courses. You will still get the Facebook group. I will not moderate your webinar for free anyway. But that's what you get. So you're still going to get a great deal if you're buying from the replay. So, and the buy button's on the page. You can just scroll down and buy. But now it's time for Q&A. And I know we had some questions through. Angela texted me a couple. I have 2 computers and a phone, and we're like handling all this stuff. It's crazy. So type your questions into the chat now. And I know one of them was hosting a webinar and a course. I think it was a 2-part question. So for webinars, like I said, I really like just embedding them. It's very simple. Now, and what I did do is I talked to my web host beforehand and said, hey, look, can my website handle a live video streaming with, like, say 100 people showed up. One of the ones Angela and I did, we had about 100 people. Can my site handle that? And so I upgraded to like some kind of thing that I don't understand because I don't get that. But that's what I like. You can do lead pages, and I actually have lead pages, and I was really excited to use. They have a webinar page that you just kind of copy and paste stuff in. But the one time I tried to use it, it crashed, and I just haven't been back because I was like, well, I just don't trust that. A lot of people use GoToWebinar, which is expensive. Webinar Jam, which I think is less expensive. I've heard really good things about Webinar Jam. So if you don't want to handle copying and pasting code, Webinar Jam is good. The pros and cons of some of these other ones are like GoToWebinar, you have to download something onto your computer. Like you have to download an app. And if you're on your phone, you have to download an app. I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. So like a lot of times if a webinar is on there, I don't go. Yeah. So I don't know. Have you seen any on other ones, Angela, or seen any that you liked or didn't like webinars?
Google Hangouts is probably the most popular, I think, because of not having to download the software, like you said. And I know a lot of people who refuse to download software like that. So they just won't they won't come to your webinar if you have something like that.
Yeah.
And Lead Pages I never used because it was, to me, prohibitively pricey.
It's
I mean, like
pricey.
I said, when I started this whole entrepreneur thing, I downloaded the Pay Now button from PayPal, and then I would email people their attachment whenever I got around to it. So it was just, I did not have an automated system by any means.
And I would not recommend just doing a Google Hangout. Like you could do it in Google Hangout, but if you just do it there rather than embedding it on your site and embedding a chat box, their chat is always wonky. I did one time on Google Hangouts, and somebody that was supposed to be watching somehow then popped up and they were on the video too. And then it was really awkward because I was like, hey, this is my show and you're on it and I don't know how to kick you off. And so it became our show. So doing it in Google Hangouts, it's always buggy, but you can copy and paste. So we have a bunch of really good questions on here. Capelia wants to know about email lists. And what is it for? So I'll take that one, and then I'll let you do the next one about courses, Angela, if you want to look at that one from Jeanette. But
that sounds good.
So your email list is basically, I think, the most important thing that you can build, more than a blog, more than Twitter, more than anything else, because that's sort of the permanent list of people. You can actually, so you use a provider like MailChimp or Mad Mimi. Those are great starts because they have a free start. You can get a few hundred or a few thousand people for free. I use ConvertKit, which is a little more fancy, but either way, it's not through like Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, whatever you use. But you basically collect email addresses from people. You ask the people, hey, I would love to have you join my email list. You send out content. Maybe you send out a monthly newsletter. I hate the term newsletter. A monthly email, a monthly update. Maybe you send out a weekly one. For creative writing, I send out a weekly bunch of links. I send them out Wednesday mornings. And it's about, I share things from social media. I share what I'm reading. I share things about writing or inspiration. I share my podcast link. So it's kind of valuable. Like I think it's links people will grow from. For my personal blog, I just share a piece of writing, like what's impacting me that week. So, like Capelia, for you, especially with the platform that you have doing KSBJ, like you already have people who like you. You could ask people to join that list, and then you just share, what's going on in your life, share more from the show, whatever it is people seem to be interested in or ask you questions about. But those, when you use MailChimp or one of those things, the benefit is once you collect those email addresses, you can have a sign up form on your blog, you can have a sign up on Facebook, you can just tweet out a link, sign up here. You can download that list of emails and print it out. So you literally own it. Whereas people visit your blog, they come and go, and you can get analytics and see people have been there, but you can't like keep them. Whereas email, you have it, and until or unless they unsubscribe, you can contact them at any time. And so that's kind of that's a really basic, email thing. And if you do take the free email course, that will help walk you through some of that stuff. So I'd highly recommend, if you don't have a list or you feel like your list is tiny, and tiny lists aren't bad. You can have a tiny engaged list and make money and grow your platform and make some real super fans with a tiny engaged list. So I forgot who said their list was tiny, but don't worry about it. Like it'll grow through time and just be engaged. So that's my basic on email list.
Yeah, totally. And I would agree with that. I had focused so much on my email list with Untrained Housewife that I actually, when Kirsten and I sat down and we were rooming together at Blog Elevated, and she looked at my AngeEngland.com site, she was like, why do you only have RSS feed? Where's your email list? I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even have an email list on my blog about blogging. That's terrible. And so I literally started my email list there this year. So, there's no reason what's that proverb about, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So if you don't have a list, go for it. Today's the day, like get it done. And there's no excuse not to. So
the next question was, how long does it take to create a course? And that was from Jeanette. So if you want to hit that one.
Yeah. So for me, it really depends. And sometimes it depends on how much video and support material I'm producing. I know the Achieve Your Publishing Dreams course, it's 30 lessons, and they each have video and audio as well as the written text. So it was about 50,000 words of lessons. Yeah, I mean, it was like a book. I mean, NaNoWriMo. So that one probably took me 2 or 3 months because I was updating everything from like my 30 days to make a self-fabulous ebook. I was adding all of the self-publishing stuff, the information about CreateSpace, all of those kind of technical details. Other stuff like the edible landscaping guide, I'm halfway through a course. I've been working on it for 2 weeks, and I'm going to have it done in another week. And it's just based off of my book. So it's really repurposing and repackaging the research that I've already done for this major project I did this summer. I'm just redoing it for the course. I don't know, we did creative profitability because Kirsten and I were splitting the load. I think we did that in about 2 weeks between the two of us.
Yeah, it was just 2 weeks where I didn't eat or sleep a lot, or see my family as much as normal. But I will say, someone was asking about hosting, and I think that goes right into to the same question. Where do you host a course? There are a couple main options. You can do something that's like a marketplace, like Udemy or Great Courses. I would not recommend that. The reason you'll make less money, they can change the prices at I know Udemy, maybe not Great Courses, but they can change the price at any time and not ask you or tell you. You'll just suddenly go in and your course is $2.99 instead of $50. Like that's what they can do. Also, you are not getting the email addresses from your students. So people take the course and it's kind of like people visiting your blog. You have no idea who they are. You can't follow up or anything. So I would strike that. The next option is you can host it somewhere else. Like there are sites, I really like teachable.com or Thinkific. And both of those, what they will do is you pay them a monthly fee and you also pay per course. And that's what's really held me back. That and some other things from using one of those, because I like them. You just plug it in. Here's my content. Here's my whatever. They handle the sales. They handle the affiliates. They handle all the tech. So if you don't want to do any tech, if you're like, I cannot learn another thing, I just want to make a video and stick it somewhere, that's a great option. You don't have to build anything on your site. But again, you're paying a monthly fee. It's about $30 for their cheapest ones. Both of those is around 30. And then you're paying about a 10% transaction fee per course, plus like credit card fees and stuff. So, that's just something, but that may be worth it for you if you don't want to build a course. Third option is kind of what we did with creative profitability. Angela did most of the back end stuff on that. And so that was, you can use a combination of themes and plugins for WordPress. I don't know how you would do it on Blogger. I don't think you could, just to be honest, unless you're a developer or something like that, or you hire somebody. But with themes and plugins, you may pay, $60 to $100 to get those things up. And then you kind of just build pages and posts the way you would normally, but there's a privacy setting. And so then you just have to get the people the access to that. So you can do it. It's a lot of, again, like webinars, it's a lot of moving parts, but you can do it. And that's something I think we didn't put in, but I want to add, we talked about it today, to check training.
Yeah, we will.
How we built this course. So you can see, so if you're building a course, so you can do that.
The nice thing about using something like a plugin is that you pay for it once and then you own it. So you're not having to deal with a monthly fee kind of situation, which is discouraging as an entrepreneur. It's like, okay, I already paid you for that last month. Now I want to just keep doing my course, keep doing my thing. So yeah, and I will say I also did a course this year called Kick Your Blog in the Butt, and it's a weekly challenge series. And I'm delivering that using automated emails through my newsletter. So I'm not even hosting that on my blog. That's purely email delivery only. And then we have a private Facebook group. So there's a lot of options depending on what that audience is going to be looking for.
Yeah, and actually the free email course is that way as well. The free email course just will come to your inbox. And I'm actually thinking about hosting that over at Teachable as well, because Teachable has a free option. You get less bells and whistles and you still pay 10%, but for a free course, I'm not paying anything. So I could put that up and then see how I like it. Also, welcome, Kelly. You just bought the course and you're going to get a webinar from me. Woo!
Yay!
So
you get a person.
Give us a little bit of time after this to get the email to you, because we have to come down from webinar high and get you your info. But welcome to the course.
Yay. Jeanette had a question about eBooks, and she asked, how long does an ebook have to be at a minimum? I will say it depends a lot on what you're looking for in terms of a pricing point. So if you are doing like a free ebook, that's, I mean, my booklet on Untrained Housewife, the 7 Principles of Intentional and Self-Sufficient Living, is the name of it. And it is like 23, 24, 25 pages, something like that. It's not super big at all, but it converts really well. And I did have a graphic designer create the cover. She also created web banners. So I have like, a big banner and the square banner and the one that goes in the sidebar. I have all the banners that I had her design at the same time. Now that's a trick that will save you some money, because if you have a graphic designer do a cover and then you come back a year later and do the web banners, you might pay more altogether. But if you just have her do all of it at the same time, you're going to save a little bit more in the long run. So that allows me to put those advertisements in for the newsletter ebook, and people click on it, they subscribe to the ebook, subscribe to the newsletter, and they get the ebook delivered straight to their email. And I don't do anything fancy for that at all.
I think it depends. You could have any length, and the cool thing is, if you're going to do a freebie, it doesn't have to be a book. You can totally do a freebie that's valuable, that's like 1 page. Now I've seen people do like, here's a printable Bible verse. That probably won't get me subscribing. It might get some people, but Amy Porterfield is another great example. If you go to her site and see, every time she does a podcast episode, she has a freebie. And a lot of times it's like a 1-page checklist, but it could be something like a 1-page checklist for your very first webinar. Well, if you want to run a webinar, that checklist from somebody who runs them every week, that's invaluable. Like, that's fantastic. Yes, I will give you my email for that free checklist. So
exactly.
It doesn't have to be a book, but ebooks I think can really be any length. And I think a lot of them, especially if they're nonfiction, are way shorter than you would think they need to be. Now, fiction, again, if you're independently publishing, you could do whatever, but fiction, I think around 90,000 words is kind of tends to be where fiction is like a basic number. And we had another question on that is related to books. Do you need a blog to write an ebook? And I'd say no. A blog is one more place where you can share content with people. It's a great place to connect. It's a great place to build your platform. It's a great place to find readers for your ebook, but you do not have to have one. Now, if you're going to independently publish a book, you do have to find a way to connect with your readers. But a lot of people are like, there's a whole, I'm trying to think who was Simple Green Smoothies. That's a company that founded themselves on Instagram. Instagram, I use it. It's kind of a mystery to me in terms of how people build businesses on it. I mean, I've heard them talk about it, but I'm like, no. But they built like this giant following of like 300,000 people on Instagram. And they have a whole business. Yeah, they have a whole business that runs out of there. So maybe your platform is Instagram. Maybe it's Snapchat, which I still don't know how to use. Maybe Twitter, I don't think has great conversions. All these, again, you're going to use your email list underneath of them. But you want to find a place to share content and connect with people so that you can promote your book, so that you can find readers and connect in that way. So no, you do not have to have a blog. I do recommend it though.
I will say, yeah, if that's what I was going to say. If you're an author, you want to make sure that you have your name and all of your pen names as domains, because what you don't want is someone else being like, oh, SusieSmith.com, and it's somebody, not you. So you have like 10 books published under the pseudonym Susie Smith, and someone has scalped your domain. So you want to make sure, like I literally purchased all of my children's names.coms already, because to me, that's no, seriously, when my 4th and 5th were born, I had our boy name choice and our girl name choice already purchased at GoDaddy, and I just didn't renew the one that they weren't. But if you do want to be able to be found, if I read a book and I'm interested in that author and I go to Google and I search them and I can't find them, that's a major letdown to me. If you have even just a basic site, 3 or 4 pages that you don't have to update with a blog where you're posting every week, but it has how to connect with you on Facebook, how to subscribe to your newsletter so I can get the updates, a link to all of the books that you've written, then that's going to allow me to connect with you. And so to me, you need to have that digital presence just to have that foothold for your own protection.
Yeah, I agree. So Capelia asked another really good question. If I'm looking to monetize and just starting, what is the top priority to start seeing the blog become profitable? And I think that's a multi-tier question. So I'll kind of put in mine, and then Angela, I know, will have a lot to say because she's been blogging profitably long. I've been blogging forever.
All the things in my head.
But I would say you want to get that. You want to get your site. You want to get your name. You don't have to have blog under your name, but definitely buy your name if it's available. Start the email list because you just have to have that. I just feel like that needs to be underneath everything, just running there. Even if you don't know what you're going to send to people, get an email list and just basic, stick a sign in the sidebar. That's not the best way to do it, but you just have to have it. There are so many revenue streams. So this course is an alternative to what a lot of bloggers do. A lot of bloggers work on page views and scrambling to get more and more and more and more and more page views so that they have banner ads, Google AdSense, working with a company like BlogHer on having those ads in the sidebar, or the Blogger Network or AdThrive, which are companies that work with bloggers that will place, like, you put a piece of code in and they'll put ads on your site, and the more page views you get, the more money you get. But again, like my $100,000 month, I maybe got a check for $200, and that may not have all been from that month. So like, there's not a lot of money. I mean, just frankly, unless you have a huge following, there's not a lot of money there. Sponsored posts, you can either approach companies directly, or you can work through like Collective Bias or Swerve or what are some of the other ones? I'm forgetting now, but
there's a million. Tap Influence, Global Influence, Type A Parent, Mom It Forward.
So all those connect bloggers with brands, and you get a sponsored post for like a couple $100. The amazing thing is how much money they keep, and you don't know that until you know that, and then you're like, I can't unsee those numbers of how much they made versus how much I made. So that's I think the most common ways that bloggers make money. This course is kind of an alternative to that because it's really promoting products that are going to have more sustainability, because when you create your own products, like Angela said, her ebooks continue to sell. Whether she heavily promotes them or not, they continue to sell. And if you can get those keywords in your Amazon description and those places, then it's going to sell itself in some ways. And so there's a lot of, I love that you're eating right now. It's awesome. I'm drinking coffee. But yeah, there's so many different ways. This is another set of revenue streams that you can do through building your own courses, through creating your own products. You can also do affiliate sales using Amazon or other, just anybody that a lot of places. Target has an affiliate program. You sign up and you have to label it. You have to make sure people know it's an affiliate link. You can link to Target products, and when people buy through your link, you get a percentage. Angela,
Yes.
Profitable blog.
So I think email is definitely one of the places to start. And if you don't have an ebook or some reason for people to give you their email address yet, then you need to do that. I highly recommend that you don't just say, subscribe to my newsletter so you don't miss a post, because other people don't know that you're as awesome as we know that you are. So they don't actually care if they missed your post or not. They want to know what they're going to get. So if you're a food blogger, then you should say something like, get a weekly recipe you can prepare in 30 minutes or less, because that tells them what your newsletter is about. And if you don't know what your blog is about yet, then you need to think about that too. Yeah. The other thing to think about is, it really comes down to, are you selling your readers on behalf of someone else, or are you talking to your readers on behalf of yourself? And when you're doing a sponsored post, you are being paid to introduce your readers to another company, because that company hopes that your readers will spend money for them. And you are going to get a small fraction of that potential money in exchange for using your influence to sell someone else's business instead of selling your own. And once I made that mindset shift, it changed everything for me, everything for me. And when you start selling yourself, and you start writing for yourself, and you start emailing your readers on behalf of yourself, it changes everything. Telling you, it changes everything.
It does. It's so empowering. I gave up, after my story I told about last summer, how I got to my 100,000 page views. It didn't make a difference at all, really, in the long term. And then I created my first course in the fall. I didn't know what I was doing, but I love teaching. I've always loved it. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do, I created one for Collective Bias. I wanted to create my own course because they own that now. They paid me once and they have it. And I was like, in hindsight, like, no, but when I sold my first course, I remember the very first one I sold, and I really didn't, I did like a soft launch. I was afraid to promote it because I was like, I don't know. But I sold, I think I made $1,500 and I was thrilled. And I remember the very first one I made one sale after a webinar, like only one. And it was like my first sale webinar. And I was like, I'm so excited. Even though it's just one, I really wanted $10,000. I'll take one, one person buying, because that was something I made. Someone's going to go through my course. It's so empowering.
Yeah.
And I'm celebrating now because Jeanette just bought. So Jeanette,
Yay!
welcome. We will get you your
Welcome.
info later tonight. We're so excited. We'll get you in the Facebook group. And all your information. And I will help you host a webinar. If you want to host a webinar, I'll be there with you. I'll be your person.
So Lindsay had a question of, what do you think about an e-course self-paced through MailChimp? And I think that she's setting it up the way Paul Jarvis set up his, where when you click the button, it triggers the next email to send. I will tell you, the thing that I dislike about that system is that if you miss one, it gets lost, or you're on vacation and you don't click that button, you don't get the next lesson. So like when I did the course that I was talking about, the kick your blog in the butt thing, I did set that up to be through email automated sends, but I had it set to go every week because I didn't want somebody whose kids got chickenpox and they are tied to the not scratching of the face for 2 weeks. I didn't want them to miss out as a result, because I know chaos happens, right? We're parents, most of us, and stuff happens. And I didn't want somebody to be punished because their life got crazy. So I had mine set to go automatically. I do know that system that you're talking about. It can be very powerful. But I think if you notice people getting stuck at a certain point, see if there's a way to re-trigger that. I haven't looked into the technology of it.
Yeah, I think I like autoresponders for free. Which is kind of what they're called. In Mad Mimi, it's a drip campaign. In ConvertKit, they just call them courses and try to encourage you to think of them that way. But if you're sending through email, I think that's really great for free. I think it's harder for a paid course. Most people, we are a culture of binge watchers, right? Hello, Netflix. Anyone? I'm binge watching right now New Girl, the newest season, and that's all I want to do is finish New Girl. People want to get your content all at one time, and they want to go through it, and they want to go through, like our course, the cool thing, you get it all at once. If you want to start with courses, start there. It doesn't matter that it's the 4th or 5th module. You can start there. Like you can skip to whatever you want to do. You do not have to, stick with one thing. So that's my problem with kind of the series through emails, is that it's a little bit buggy. It's great for a free course. I think for the paid courses, and I'm in a paid course right now where they have, self-paced lessons, but every week you get an email like, hey, it's week 8, you should be on lesson 8. And that's awesome. But I did lesson 8 the first day because I binged the course, and I did the whole thing like in one afternoon, like driving in my car. I just listened to it, the YouTube videos. So it can work. It's just maybe not, it's not the most intuitive. It's not the best in terms of being user friendly. If that helps a little bit. And Copelia asked, is it hard to switch to .org on WordPress? No. The difference being WordPress.com, you can't have ads. You don't own the real estate so much. .org, you're really paying, this part always confuses me. You buy your name, like, AnnJinglin.com, and then you go, so you pay for that somewhere, and then you pay for hosting. You can pay for them at the same time. I usually do GoDaddy, even though I hate that company because they're cheap. I buy the domain, and then I go over to Bluehost, that's who I use, and I have their cloud site. So I have all my sites on one account in Bluehost because it's the hosting that I bought is powerful.
So I heard a good analogy for this.
Oh, do this because it confuses me.
So when you buy your domain, that's like buying your mobile home. And then hosting it is like the land where you're going to put your house.
That's a great analogy. Isn't
it great? And then the design is like decorating your mobile home. Make it look pretty.
And so, so if you're on
.org, when people visit you, it doesn't look like trailer trash.
Yes, and it won't say .org. When you do, and you can, I think, have a .com on WordPress.com, but if you have it on the .org, it's more powerful. You're able to do more things with it, and you fully own it, not just you own the land and the trailer.
Exactly. So I actually start my sites on GoDaddy's unlimited hosting because I just alias them. You can have 1 million hosted there, and then once they get a little bit bigger, I move them to private hosting.
That's a good idea. I hear a lot of bloggers telling you to start with a really expensive hosting package, and you don't need that at first. I mean, I've been running these webinars on my site, and I think the most we've had, there was one we had 80 people watching live, and I have 2 sites. The other site, still gets 30 to 40,000 a month, and nothing crashes. So I'm like, and that's a not expensive Bluehost plan. And so, you don't, until you're getting hundreds of thousands of page views every single month, and especially if you have posts that go viral, you don't need to pay for a giant host. Like Bluehost, I think it's $3.49 a month if you get their cheap special, and I'm sure GoDaddy is similar.
I use whatever my friend Erica recommends, and I make her set it up. I mean, I pay her to set it up, but I just say, this site's getting bigger than GoDaddy, and she's like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, I don't like setting that stuff up, but I just follow the tutorials and do it, and then I forget immediately. So then I buy a new domain, and I'm like, dang it, I don't remember, and I have to go.
Don't remember how to do this.
But I can build a course, but I don't like doing the website setup. That annoys me. You guys have asked such a great question. You guys have been such an engaged audience. I love the questions.
Yeah, it's been
great. We will probably cut out in a few minutes if you don't have any more questions, so please stick them in. And again, we'll be offering the 3 for less than 1 deal until 10 p.m. tonight, so you have some time to decide. And join Jeanette and Kelly, who joined tonight, and the people we already have in the course, who are already in the Facebook group, and we're already talking about how we're going to earn our money back. So
that's right. That's our goal, is that you guys will implement the techniques in this course, and you will earn your money back, because we want to see you guys succeed.
And I want to earn I haven't paid for it because I created it, but I want to set that as my goal. The high price too. I want to make my goal $397. I want to make $397 on the eBooks I'm writing next month. That's my goal. So I'm there with you, even though Angela and I created the course, in that Facebook group, I want us to all be spurring each other on to okay, how can we pay for this? How can we start to make money on the things that we're doing?
Exactly.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys saying thank you, because you guys were great. I mean, really, the questions you asked were fantastic. So hopefully for our replay viewers, if you have questions, shoot us an email. I'm Kirsten at kirstenoliphant.com. And what are you, Angela? You have too many email addresses.
I do. Angela England Media is probably the easiest, at gmail.com.
So you guys can email us if you are watching the replay and you're like, but I have a question and you didn't answer it.
Or tweet us, at Ange England at Twitter, so that's easy.
And I'm Kiki Mojo. That's my roller derby name. I'm there. That's everywhere.
Roller derby name.
It is. I started all my social media with my roller derby name, and then I was like, they got too big to change them. So I was like, you know what? That's it. People call me Kiki because Kirsten's one of those names everybody mispronounces, and so nobody mispronounces Kiki.
I kind of want a roller derby name now.
We can make one for you. We'll find one.
Loudmouth.
That could be.
I don't know.
That's fine. Some of them
Screaming Mimi. I don't know.
Some of them are clever, and some of them are just I couldn't think of. I really wanted Booty Vicious, because when I started was when Bootylicious was big, that song by Beyonce, but somebody had already taken it. That's the thing. They have a registry of derby names, and so I was like, well, forget it. I'm not going to be clever. Yeah. So little known fact.
Now this is better for you long term, though, in terms of branding. Kiki Mojo is probably better.
It is. I was like, what am I going to answer to if people yell at me? Am I going to answer to Booty Vicious? I'm
totally calling you that from now on.
You should. If you
at a conference, I'm going to stand across the far side of the room and be like, Bootylicious!
Awesome. No, but it's Booty Vicious. But it's Booty Vicious because it's
okay.
roller
I will
derby,
remember
so
that with
vicious.
the V.
With a V, because I'll take you out.
So if I shout that from across the room, though, you're not going to like.
Well, you know what? I'll answer for you.
Okay.
So okay,
with
I'm
a
not
hug,
seeing
not a tackle.
Bootylicious.writing.com. Yes, Kelly. I need to go buy that domain.
We have smart Alex in the group.
We do, which is perfect because that's how we are. So
I love it.
All right, so I think there's no more questions for now. So I'm gonna run the other way, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, you have till 10 to decide if you want to do the package. Do the package. We're gonna help you earn your money back. But if you don't, you have till Sunday to still get $197, and you can choose the Publishing Dreams course or Own Your List. But if you buy tonight, you're gonna get all of them. And so then, and they're all self-paced. So if you're like today, you're like, before I can write a book, I need my email list. You can take the email course.
Exactly.
And then go through everything.
Right. Which that's why we set it up the way we did, because we knew that some people, maybe they already have a handle on eBooks, but they really need help getting the webinars and the courses going. Other people, you're starting from scratch. And so you're going to be able to work your way through all of it. Yeah. And we have it set up where you just click through the elements that you need, read the lessons that you need, ask the questions as you need them in the group, and we will help you every step of the way.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm so excited you guys came and stayed for those of you guys still hanging on to this crazy conversation that went into roller derby and everything else. We're glad that you guys stuck around. Thank you to all the replay viewers. Again, if you have questions, tweet us. If you're watching the replay, it's still a $197. You'll get 2 courses for that. And
great deal.
It is still a great deal, and it's going to go out on Sunday. So yeah, but I'm really excited. I hope the free training was helpful, even if you're not buying the course, because we're all about giving free value, even if you don't buy, because reality, before I started buying courses, I did a lot of free things without buying.
Yes.
So that's actually my motto. Do as much as you can for free. And then when you need to jump ahead and take that next step, that's when you should start paying. But do what you can for free. So if this was helpful to you and we'll get you started for free, I'm glad. And I'm glad you're here.
We would love for you guys to tweet at us and tell us something that you learned or that you're going to implement as a result of the course. And we hope you guys have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.